Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek to hide their counsel from Yahweh, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges and to the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations they were scattered to. This is not a black-only thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. This is Isaiah 25:7, and it reads, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So Esau, Edom, Vocab Malone's people, has spread a veil over all the nations of falsehood, of color, not speaking the truth biblically, not speaking the truth in any way whatsoever, and then try to defend lies. So I have in my possession a book called the KJV Dictionary from 1828. And this, of course, is a reprint. Being that it's in paperback, is a reprint of it. And that's this book that you see on the screen here right about now. And I have fallen in love with this book. Now, and it was influenced by this book, because it's by the same people. Noah Webster's An American Dictionary of English Language, published in 1828, is widely recognized dictionary that significantly influenced the development of the American English. Webster paper particularly has focused on etymology and incorporating new words. It is considered a landmark achievement in lexicography. I have to get this book. It said the dictionary definitions often reflect the values and terminology in early 19th century and is heavily based on the King James Bible. All right. So in 1828, what else was going on with people like Vocab Malone? Let's click. And this video was put up. You can see the name of the video at the bottom. It was done by our beloved elder apostle, Ramlab. It's on GMS Info Doc Channel 12. You can see the name of the video at the bottom. And I highly suggest that you go and watch this. And Vocab Malone was trying to defend the lie, which was Calvinism, all right. The apologist, the truth of the matter is that what was going on at this same time was that the biblical destruction group was operating, and that's, as I've been going through this book, this book in my hand, and highlighting certain words. I noticed the words that it did leave out. And it's like it, because you got to remember that the Bible destruction group was operating, and they have successfully removed the Apocrypha, or were trying to remove the Apocrypha at the time. Matter of fact, I'm looking at the word defraud on page 41, and it says to deprive the right of either by obtaining something by deception or artifice, by taking something wrongfully without the knowledge or consent of the owner, to cheat, to cozen. And it says to withhold wrongfully from another what is due to him. All right, I'm going to put this in the screen. To prevent one wrongfully from obtaining what he may justly claim. And that is our heritage. All right, that's defraud. And what they have done was they have defrauded, they have defamed, to slander falsely and maliciously, to utter words respecting another's which intend to injure reputation or occupation, to speak evil and dishonor by false reports, to culminate, libel, and impair reputation by acts. This is something that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, does to the Israelites daily, and especially to the Hebrew Israelites who claim their heritage. It says, to determine judicially, to resolve by sentence, to determine or resolve legislatively, to fix, appoint, or set a constitute by edict or in purpose. So they decree Slovakia, unrighteous decrees. All right. Here's the next one. There's decrees in there twice. It says decree, a judicial decision or determination or litigated cause, an order, edict, or law made by a superior as a rule to govern inferiors, established law or rule. So they went to change things. Deceit. All right. A catching or ensnaring, misleading. All right. Of a person, leading of another person to believe what is false or not to believe what is true, and thus to ensnare him. All right. Fraud, fallacy, cheat, any declaring artifice or practice which misleads another or causes him to believe what is false. That is Christianity. That is Calvinism. That is Catholicism. That is vocab Malone. You could put his name next to that. His face could be next to that definition. If deceit had a face, vocab Malone's and his constituents' faces could all go right next to it. All right. So I noticed, that the apostle spoke in his video about going to the law, to the letter, and I noticed that in this book, once again, certain definitions were left out, like Hellenist, Grecian, the Hellenist being a Greek-speaking Jew, the Grecian also being a Greek-speaking Jew. It left out, it has damsel. I don't remember seeing virgin, and they definitely don't have world in here. So words that the definition would ruin the lie, which is, because how could you have a Bible dictionary? Let's see. Oh, yeah, it did have virgin, but it went off. It didn't give you the true. It gave you a woman who had no carnal knowledge of man. Maidhood, the state of having no carnal knowledge of man, virginity. Yeah, so it did. So it's basically, it avoided telling you that a virgin is also a damsel, a young woman. All right. It did. So it's certain words that it completely just left out that would challenge or prove the truth. Yeah, because it got worldly, but it definitely did not have world. See? See, the world is not there. Because just breaking down the meaning of world would prove to you who the Lord is, who the Lord came from. But there are other definitions that completely destroy the lie that is Christianity. Okay? Completely. Because in the book of Matthew, it tells you that the Lord, I think it's 10 and let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah. Because the name of the video is that the book of Peter is addressed to the Israelite Gentiles, so is James, so is the whole Bible. Matthew, the 10th chapter, verse 5, it says, These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go ye rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. All right? So the kingdom of heaven is for who? The Israelites. Matter of fact, it said that, so let's just look into that word. Let's look at them. In fact, I didn't see the word house. I don't remember seeing it. But that's okay. There are other words that break that down too. Let me see. Nope. House is not there. Because if you break down the word house, it's going to show you that is only for the Israelites. But we're in H. So what we're going to go to is we're going to read Hebrew, heir, heritage. So here we go. Just to prove that even though they told you the truth, they also told you very controlled lies. To what? We read the definition of deceit. Okay? Did it not tell you in 2nd Ezra that they were, that the end of deceit would come? They've ruled with much deceit, with injuries. So they didn't have house, so we could break down Matthew 10 and 6, but they do have heir. You can see the, so a matter of fact, doesn't it not say in 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. The Bible is to the Hebrew Israelites. All right. It says Hebrew, a descendant of Jacob, who is a descendant of Eber, an Israelite. All right. And the Israelites, and it says a Jew, right? Look, it's a Judean. So remember that word Jew is a hijack. All right. The letter J was newly created, and the Israelites never referred to themselves as Jews. All right. They were Israelites. Or you wouldn't call someone from the tribe of Zebulun a Jew. You wouldn't call someone from the tribe of Issachar or from the tribe of Asher a Jew. Okay. Jew is short for Judah, one tribe, which is the tribe the Lord came out of. That was Hebrew. Now, Hebrew adjective pertaining to the Hebrews. See heritage, but let's get heir first because it was right here. All right. Oh, and I got see inherit. Oh yeah, we gonna hurt their feelings. So these definitions prove a point. All right, and we can do this all day with this book. Okay, but it says heir, a man who succeeds or is to succeed another in the possession of the land's tenements, heredity by descendant, a man who the law casts an estate of inheritance by death of an ancestor or former possessor. The man in whom the title to establish inheritance is vested, or the operation of law on the death of the former owner. All right. One who inherits or takes from an ancestor, or who succeeds to the estate of the former possessor. All right. So the land of Israel was promised to the Hebrews. That's the chosen, and not only that, that's a special land on earth that the Lord likes as well. And the kingdom of heaven, we're going to talk about that too. Let's go to see inherit. Okay. It's going to be ran out of there. Now you can see why I left out Hellenista, because it should have been there. All right. On that page. But heritage. Okay. Ooh, you see that? The inheritance, an estate that passes from ancestor to an heir by descent or course of law, that which is inherited. The saints or people of God are called his heritage, as claiming by him and objects of special care. All right. Now we already read it, said, they left out a descendant of Eber, and it's funny that they didn't put Jacob, but they didn't put Isaac and Abraham. But nevertheless, the bloodline. It went from Abraham to Isaac, then to Jacob, and it went by Esau. Okay, remember that it went by Esau, who is also a Hebrew. He is also of the bloodline of Eber. All right. And Eber means Hebrew, which means that Eber's name is in there because that's what the word Hebrew means. Past, from the past. All right. So, which makes them all from the line of Shem, not Sem. Okay. Matter of fact, let me see if Shemite is in here. Because I don't even think the word Semite hadn't been made up, hadn't been written yet, hadn't been printed. Let's see if Shem. Yeah, they didn't go into the, see, because they avoided, if you notice in this dictionary too, they avoided the names of the nations for the most part. So no, Shem is not in here. And I'm willing to bet that Sem is not in here either, which goes to show you that that's a modern term which was made up to protect. And yeah, it would be on page 164, 165, because it goes right from sensual, skips over the SEM and goes right to S sepulcher. So there's no SEM. So Sem, that fraud that they push, that's not in this book. All right, let me show you that. You see? Hold on, let me get the right page. SE. Here we go. See, there's no Sem because there's no Semites. That's a made up term. It goes from sensual. See, we'll skip right over the M. Salvage to sensual. All right. So that's not here. Now let's go to inherit, because who's going to inherit the kingdom? The Israelites. Okay. And this is just me lambacking off the apostles' video, because he talked about going to the letter of the law, which is something that they duck and dodge. Ooh, kindred, kinsmen, kinfolk. Can't wait to get to that one, that lesson. We're going to say that one, though. Oh, yeah, inherit. Okay. Yeah, we read heritage. So here we go. Page 98. The definition of inherit. Okay. It says to possess, to enjoy, to take as a possession by the gift of divine appropriation, to take by descent from an ancestor, to take by concession, to receive as a right or title, descendable by law from the ancestor at his decease, to receive by nature from a progenitor. All right. See here in heritage, we got to get progenitor now. Okay. Because this is all about the Israelites. Because they do have the word saint in here. I think they have. Did they have saint in here? Because they mentioned saint, but they didn't have. Yeah. See? Let me show you. Saints not here. Yeah, I do remember looking for that yesterday. Oh, it is. Now they give you, now they'll tell you here that the saint, this is where they lie. See? That's why I said see heritage. A person sanctified, a holy or godly person, one eminent or piety or virtue, one of the blessed in heaven. All right. But the way they wrote it, they didn't identify it as an Israelite. But back here in heritage, or inherit, it pointed out the saints. Was it heritage or inherit? Let's see. Let's go back. Because see, Esau Edom tells on himself. So even when trying to hide the truth, yeah, heritage. You see? All right. Definition number 2. The saints of the people of God are called his heritage, as being claimed by God, the objects of his special care. See, so it tells you in Amos. Okay. I mean, I can see I'm going to have fun with this book. I am thoroughly enjoying this. All right. But it tells you in Amos 3, verse 1, and it reads, "Hear the word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which are brought up from the land of Egypt. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. All right. Can two walk together except they be agreed? And so when Israel didn't walk with the Lord, when they didn't agree, when we broke the covenants, when we stepped outside of that law that governed us, the Lord let us fall and let us be scattered among the other people. But he still had a remnant of Israel that he always kept throughout all our suffering. He still kept his remnant. All right. And those people were Israelites according to the flesh. Okay. Point blank period. As a matter of fact, let's read Romans, and we'll finish with this one, and then we'll revisit. I foresee that I'm going to use this book a lot to damage the lies that Vocab Malone and other Christians continue to try and push. And then, like I said, and even in this book is well to, this book was well put together, but it also carefully tried to duck and dodge words that would reveal the fraud that is Christianity. Words would have made it obvious. All right. But you can't tell a lie without telling more lies. And then even the definitions you have in here are revealing your lies. Okay. So this is Romans 9th chapter. All right. Romans 9 and Romans 3 make it so clear that it's all about the Israelites. Okay. Matter of fact, let me read Romans 3 first. Romans 3, 1 through 4. And it says, what advantage then have the Judean? I hate that J word, all right? And they made that up. That's the hijack. Or what profit, or it could just be Israelite. It said, what advantage have the Israelite? Or what profit is there of circumcision? All right. Circumcision meaning following the law, and physically being circumcised as well. Much every way, chiefly because that until them were committed the oracles of God. See, it wasn't committed to everybody. And Paul is telling you this. All right. And he's telling the Israelites that were Roman citizens this, the Israelites that were in Rome. All right. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make their faith of God without effect? God forbid. Let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, thou mightest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Let's go to verse 9. All right. Or chapter 9. And this is Romans 9 and 1. And it reads, and I say in Hamashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bear me witness in the Holy Ghost that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. All right. Who are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh Hamashiach came, who is over all, God bless forever. Amen. So we're going to look at that word covenant. We're going to look at that word promise. We're going to look at that word kinsman. All right. Maybe even adoption. So let's look at them real quick. So let's go to kinsman real fast. First, let's go to promise to see if it's in here. I think it's in here. So I was in this book back and forth. Ooh, man. The more I turn it, the more I keep seeing stuff. But yeah, it's funny. He left out promise. Because that definitely would have. Yeah. Hold on. No, it's here. All right. Yeah, I did make it, underline it, but he made it very general, so it's not even worth reading. But he said a kinsman means that you have a common what? Progenitor. So since I was looking up promise, progenitor is on this page. So we'll just throw that in there. Progenitor, an ancestor in a direct, rest of the definitions at the top. Line of a forefather, see genealogy. Ooh-wee. All right, working our way back to kinsmen. According to the flesh, who are Israelites, okay? So it says see genealogy. So let's go back to genealogy. Then we're going to grab that kinsman. It says genealogy, an account of history. Hold on, the descent of a person or family from an ancestor, enumeration of ancestors and their children in a natural order succession, pedigree, lineage, regular descent of a person, family from a progenitor, just like, and then stocks and kinsmen. All right. Remember, in the Apocrypha, when they removed it, it tells you that Alexander was the first in his stock to rule over the Greeks, over the melanated Etruscans, the Minoans. All right. His stock. And then what was the stock of Alexander? Alexander was an Edomite. So white people got so-called self-proclaimed white people got dominion over the colored people of Asia and the part of Asia that they call Eurasia. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to stock. Then we'll stop and we'll end it in kinsman. But let's go to stock real quick. Scatter. Man, this book. I am at the water to the brother who left me this book. You know, one of the brothers from Cleveland camp left this book for me when they were here. But here we go. There you go. Stock, the stem or main body of a tree or other plant, the fixed, strong, firm part of an origin, support of branches, the original progenitor, also the race or line of a family of progenitors of the family, their direct descendants, lineage, family, domestic. All right. Then it starts talking about animals. All right. So it says, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, genealogy, stock. So let's go to kinsmen now. So you can't make, so the, heritage here, the saints of God. It's the saints, which is the heritage of God. So not just anybody who believes, but an actual physical bloodline person who's from the same progenitor, which is the message that the Hebrew Israelites are telling you all the time. That is what the Bible is about. And you got liars like this fat face, doodle ball here, Vocab Malone, who's constantly trying to come against what the gospel says. All right. I can't wait for the Lord to publicly dismantle this man. It's what a beautiful day that's going to be. So let's go to kinsman and we'll wrap this up. All right. Ooh, and then it got kingdom above it. Because what's the promises? The promises is the kingdom. So we'll just start with kingdom and work and read down to kinsman. All right. Kingdom, a territory, a country subject to a king, undivided territory, the dominion of a king or a monarch. Let's jump down to definition 8 and 9. The reign of the Messiah, the government or rule or supreme administration. And who is that for? His kinfolk, who are Israelites. All right. Relations, kindred persons, same family. Kinsman, a man of the same race or family, one related by blood. See genealogy, stock, kinswoman. All right. That's for the Israelite women. You cannot get around this, man. Esau, you are finished. Vocab Malone, you fat-faced liar, you a fat mouth, as one of my beloved brothers would say. But here we go. Romans 9 and 3. For that I wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. The adoption to be brought back is for them, and the glory, that's for them, and the covenants. Only the Israelites, the kinsmen, according to the flesh, were given the covenants. All right. And the law. This is New Testament. And the service of God and the promises. Only the Israelites, the bloodline covenant, can even serve the Lord in that matter to where they're judges. That's the kingdom of heaven. That's the dominion of the Messiah. And you, Vocab Malone, are going to be a worker in it. An unpaid worker. That's in there too. I read that. An unpaid servant. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Kwadash Kwam Yasharala Abad Babal.